welcome to Collectors in Their Own Voices, a new series I'm going to try to run with collectors in the hobby. I'm going to try to avoid the quote-unquote big content creators and try to focus more on collectors and what they like. With that in mind, I'd like to welcome Jenny Marie Sports Cards. She is joining me today. She's going to be the inaugural episode of this series. So thank you very much for coming.
Yay. I am honored. This is great. I'm excited to do this.
Outstanding. First, I do want to say thank you as a veteran for your service over the years. Thank you very much.
And thank you for your service.
All right. So I'm a super anal person. So as you know, I'm going to fire off. We'll go through 13 questions, then kind of a free for all after that. If that's okay with you.
Absolutely. Let's go.
All right. How long have you been in the hobby?
So I've actually been in the hobby since I can remember. I used to lay on my dad's floor in Wisconsin, which is where I was born, and watch him with his collecting. He ran a beer route, and he would bring home cards from his beer route all the time, and I'd help him put them in the binders, the ones that the cards get stuck to in 10 years, and you try to pull them out, and you can't get them out.
Yep.
But the magazines that they used to have, you'd search for your card and you'd see how much it's worth. And that's pretty much how I grew up. One of my best memories from that would be the police cars in Oshkosh, Wisconsin used to hand out Milwaukee Brewer cards. So I would run outside and go to the police officers and they'd hand me Milwaukee Brewers cards. Then life happens. I'm a girl. Kind of went away from the whole collecting and didn't actually start recollecting until maybe about 6 or 7 years ago when I got married to my husband. So we've been doing it together. I think collecting with my husband became more of a selfish decision on my part because I felt like he was consumed with his sports cards and his sports videos, and I wanted attention. So at that point, I decided to go, okay, well, what's the big deal? So I started learning more about it and acting interested, and then it all came back. So the fire in me got lit, and I started collecting my own. I had my own case, my own PC, and here we are.
That's awesome. I wish growing up in New York City there were cops that gave out baseball cards. That's so cool. I think it's such a great idea.
Yeah, it was really neat. It was like Paul Molitor, Raleigh Fingers, all those guys back in the day in like the 80s was, and my dad pretty much collected a lot of junk wax. So, lots of that.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I kind of know this answer to this question just based on what you said, but do you consider yourself a collector, an investor, like a flipper, or some hybrid combination of the group?
Well, I definitely sell on eBay, but what I sell on eBay is basically, I'll go to Target and, I'll go get a box and I'll rip everything open and I'll find my one player that, goes with my PC, or something I really, really love. And the rest I'll put on eBay. Or if I have duplicates, I'll put on eBay. So I'm mostly a collector. I will search on eBay for my PC players. My whole Zion case is full of 7 or 8 different PC players that I focus on. So I do sell, but that is not my focus. That was more just to get rid of the stuff I don't want.
Fair enough. I guess, the logical next question then based on that is, so who do you collect?
I have a lot of Klay Thompson. I'm now collecting Brandon Pajemski, which was kind of a sad day the other day because I think they moved Klay to play off the bench and Brandon was starting. And I was like, okay, I'm happy, but I'm sad. But then Klay ended up coming off the bench and proving himself a lot. So I have Brett Favre because, of course, Wisconsin is big to me still. And so I've always more been a quarterback girl. So I have Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and now I have Jordan Love. Jordan Love is probably the most cards I have in my case. I have a lot of Bo Jackson. I did start the whole Wemby craze and started pulling a bunch of Wembys and decided, you know what? I'm keeping him for my PC. So I have one whole side of Wemby, and I guess I have Patrick Mahomes. I have a lot of that. So of course I was, even though Jordan Love didn't make it to the Super Bowl, unfortunately, I did have Patrick as my backup.
A nice backup.
Yeah, so it worked out because I was actually collecting Patrick before Jordan. So it worked out. So I was okay. But that's pretty much it for my PC. My husband and I together, he wanted to start collecting all the Black Hall of Fame players.
Okay.
So he started with baseball, and then he's got Ernie Banks. And so then we started together trying to get all the Topps Ernie Banks cards.
Okay.
And I think we are maybe only a couple away from that. And then we're going to go and start collecting some of his other cards. But those are, pretty much our focus right now.
Sounds pretty tailored and pretty good to me. I mean, there's worse ways to live.
Right.
I guess going after Packers quarterbacks makes it a little easy, right? Because each one comes in, does 15 years, and then moves on. So I guess you got
exactly, exactly. And and it's funny because like with Brett Favre, I had every jersey of his because I followed the quarterback, not the team. I mean, obviously, I root for the team because of my quarterback, but I had Brett Favre's purple jersey, when he was in Minnesota, and I had green. And I do not have an Aaron Rodgers Jets jersey yet. I wouldn't mind having one. I do have his Packer jersey, and I haven't gotten a Jordan Love jersey yet. That is my next thing on my list to get. But yes, I do follow them through teams, not just the team. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. So try to figure out the best way. So how do you talk about everyone you collect? So are you like an eBay shopper, social media, LCSs, shows, some kind of wherever you can find it? Like, I don't know if there's an LCS close to you or.
There is actually. So Lucky 7 is in Austin, and I found that little gem of a place probably 6 months ago. I love going there to look. There is another kind of bigger, more of a collectible hobby shop, not just cards. I mean, it's got everything like pops, and I collect Wonder Woman pops too. So I'll go to the other bigger place to go look for cards every now and then. I've gotten a few off of Instagram. I'm still kind of wary about, buying from just anybody on Instagram. Yes, eBay, definitely eBay. And then the Dallas Card Show has really been, until recently, me going to Atlanta. I went to Cards HQ. Right. Dallas Card Show really is the only one that I ventured out to. So I have gotten a lot of cards there, like my last Bo Jackson I got there and things like that. And then, of course, just I love ripping at home. So, I make my weekly Target Walmart runs, which, by the way, have been crap lately. There's nothing on the shelves. Very frustrating. It's very frustrating. Like I literally went 3 days ago and absolutely nothing on the shelves. I was so frustrated. I went to Target, Walmart, and then we actually went to a different city and went and looked, and nothing. I was very aggravated. But I like doing that at home, So that's probably the extent of how I get my cards. I'd like to get more. There's a few people that I do. Happy Card Collector. I get some stuff from him because I know them personally, but I haven't gotten brave enough to really purchase a lot from Instagram.
Yeah, it's lots of people get scammed that way. It's tough. Like you said, you just got to find someone you trust, and then break the ice with a
right
$5 card, or something. So if they do get you, they got you for $5 and not,
I think it wouldn't be so bad if I didn't get messages on a daily that I know are like it's constant. It'll be like the same sentence, different people, and that frustrates me sometimes. So I think that's kept me away from really making deals with people on Instagram yet. But I'm establishing more and more relationships all the time, and I'm getting to know people every time I get out there, so I am being more comfortable with it.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I noticed you're starting to pop up all over the place lately.
It's
So
great. It's crazy. When people talk about the hobby family, like it was very difficult for me to believe. And, I would kind of sit there and watch these videos, like especially FD, like my husband would watch him all the time for years and years now. And I'd be like, whatever. And all of a sudden I become involved in it and you realize what an actual family it is. Like
mhm,
there's been I think I have 20, maybe almost 2,500 followers now within a very short period of time. Nobody's been, I kind of assumed initially, like I might get some weird people in my inbox trying to slip in
sure.
and be nasty. Nobody's done that. Everybody's been respectful. I posted not too long ago a rant about somebody basically saying I shouldn't do this because I'm a girl. And I posted a reel, and the amount of support I got from that from guys was genuine and like keep doing what you're doing and we appreciate you and don't and it's like I've got this team behind me.
Sure.
It's beautiful. It really is. These
Absolutely.
relationships are just phenomenal.
No, it really is. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I spent 20 years kind of burying my head in the sand and just marching forward and doing my own thing. And I still do my own thing, but I realized, yeah, it's okay to start talking to these people. And all of a sudden, all
Mm-hmm.
other stuff changed. I'm like, oh, okay. I see what I should have been doing for 20 years now. My bad. My bad.
Right. Yeah, it's great. I'm loving every minute of it. I really am.
Awesome. So is this always just going to stay collecting in a hobby, or are you hoping maybe one day to make this more, or just kind of let the chips fall where they may? Or
Oh, I mean, I definitely am a goal setter, and I don't like ceilings. So in seeing, like I said, my Instagram growing so quickly, and seeing the possibilities of getting, it growing even larger, I can see it becoming more of a focus, even financially. I'd like to continue to grow when it comes to going to shows, getting myself out there more. So maybe even becoming more of an Instagram personality. I'm okay with that. I am. When it comes to selling, obviously that's never been a priority to me, but it would be kind of cool if I could, become an LLC eventually and change my focus more to selling. To make a little bit more money, because right now you don't, you're selling card for $2-3, minus eBay fees, etc. But
yeah,
it works. At least it gets it out of my house. But no, I don't like ceilings, and I always set goals for myself. I'll be 50 soon, and I was just trying to think of what my next big goal would be. So I guess just for me to walk into somewhere and people to be like, "Hey, Jenny Marie Sports Cards," I think that would be really cool, and it's getting there. So
it's
I just
awesome.
want to have fun with it and get to know everybody.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you what your social media of choice was, but I think we've kind of beat that dead horse. So instead of that, what made you pick Instagram? Was it just by dumb luck?
Um. So I actually do social media for my job too.
Okay.
And I'm just more, you would think age wise, I'd be more familiar with Facebook, and I'm okay with Facebook, but Instagram, I think what we're doing, there is a little bit, maybe 20 to 30-year-olds are probably, if you were to look at the statistics, maybe more common, or older people, but I think 20 to 30. And most people are on Instagram, right? I mean, they are. They just are now, unless they are a dinosaur like me. So, so Instagram's fun. I love being able to figure out the algorithms and the hashtags and change it up, and I love making the reels. And just to me, it's more of a familiar app. And Facebook, it's just kind of boring. I've tried TikTok. I like watching TikToks. I try to add my videos to TikTok sometimes. My TikTok following grew from like 0 to 1,000 in like a week, but I don't like I'm not a TikToker.
Right.
That's where the whole dinosaur comes in. I'm just not.
I get it.
Yeah. So Instagram's just familiar. It's fun, and I just like the layout and the way, the way it works. So I'm definitely more of an Instagram girl.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I wasted Instagram for years. I just used it as a DM vehicle for people I met in other ways, and finally just
Right.
started, posting things not too long
Yeah.
ago. So when you're perusing, I guess, social or YouTube or wherever the case may be, like what type of sports card content, if any, do you like to watch? Or yeah, what's your sports card drug of choice, if you will?
I think right now, because we've actually been sending a lot to PSA, would be PSA reveals. Um, I've been trying to learn my own ways and techniques of doing them on video. So I've been really focused at this moment on watching those, because some of these guys do great. I mean, they do great at the way they flip the card and the way they hide the number. And I'm trying to watch and learn, because I'm so bad at it. I'm pulling them out and they get stuck. I can't, I'm like, well, do they open the box first? I'm trying to learn. So I'm trying to educate myself on that. Plus it's fun. You're
Absolutely.
like, oh, when they have the, the pre-grading and they're like, well, I think this is going to get a 10. And, then they come back with a 10, or they say, they come back with an 8. It's fun. It's interesting. I like it. I like the element of surprise. But most of the videos, I've been watching a lot lately is for education purposes for myself. When I first got back into this whole hobby, there are so many different variations and so many, I still screw them up. I'm like, that's a what? Or my husband will quiz me all the time and go, what kind is this, Jenny? And I'm like, I mean, it kind of looks scopy, or, just shy. So really educating myself and getting to learn those things, so that way I don't sound like an idiot when I'm coming across on my own videos. I'm like, look at this pretty pink card.
Yeah, I've watched some of you, so you're doing fine. You're doing absolutely fine.
Oh,
So you don't have anything to worry about.
But I mean, I do watch a lot of YouTube. I do. And in Instagram, just watching stories. I like watching breaks. So not too long ago, I was on Whatnot a lot, and I was joining breaks. I learned really quick that necessarily wasn't the route I wanted to go. See, I hit really big. I got a Brock Purdy, like my first one, right?
Nice.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so lucky. This is like, wow, this is fun. But then I realized how quickly you can waste $100 within 4 days and get absolutely nothing.
Absolutely.
So that's when I flipped it around, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to Target. I'm gonna go to Walmart, or like when I'm on some shows, I'll like get my own box, and I'll say I'll do my own stuff at home, and then I'm not wasting money. So I changed that around. But I do like watching other people, with 50 boxes, break them open and hit something big, just as long as my money is not involved.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
So you said you've kind of focusing on watching obviously PSA reveals and things right now. Over time, like have you built, or is it just anything? Have you built your core group, like your favorite people that you watch on social, that you gravitate to, or anything like that? Or is it just, again?
Oh no, absolutely. So I love watching Roth cards, only because he's a big flipper, and he moves stuff really quick, but he also is extremely motivational, and I think it's his motivation that I enjoy the most. Just what the fire he has, and the passion in what he's doing, and how he really is hustling. I mean, I appreciate that. And of course, Jay from Mojo Sports has always been one of my favorites. And so I watch him constantly. I've gotten to meet him and sit with him so many times recently, and he is just such a beautiful person. FD, same kind of thing. I started watching Rolling with FD with my husband. And then when I actually got to be on one of his YouTube videos, and then we got this great relationship, and now he was in Atlanta with me at Cards HQ. So I wasn't completely alone. My husband had to work, and I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta go to this all by myself. But FD was there, And so I got to hang with him and his baby boy Junior.
Yep.
And and Jeff Wilson. Of course, I've always watched Jeff Wilson, who is another absolutely, his motivation and his energy will help me, a lot of times when I'm feeling disappointed or I'm feeling frustrated about what I'm doing, or I'm tired and I'm like, what, I don't want to post today. I'm just kind of tired of this. I've got a bunch of other stuff going on. Watching them all specifically will kind of remind me why I'm doing it.
Sure.
And what I can achieve if I continue. Don't quit. So those are my favorites. And you, of course, now.
Aw.
Aw.
You don't have to lie to me, but I'll take it. All right. So I'm going to ask a couple of different types of questions just because I'd be remiss if I didn't ask them.
Yeah.
What do you think of the current state of the hobby?
I think it's looking really good. I think it's changing for the better. I think COVID really threw us all off. And prices were dumb. And, we got to a point that, flippers were about flipping and nobody was about collecting, because the true people that cared and wanted to collect couldn't. And it was very frustrating. And I think we're getting to a point now, and I mean, you can see it. You can see it on Instagram, and you can see it by watching you or me or, all of us. It's getting to a point now that people are hoarding their own cards because they care. So they're keeping their PC players and they're posting their PC. I mean, if you look at my Instagram right now, like my Instagram page, people will hit me up for those cards. Those cards are not for sale. My Instagram page is like my museum. It's my little, that's my stuff. Like, no, I don't want to sell it to you. No, I don't want to trade you. This is mine. Every now and then I'll post an eBay link like, hey, this is for sale. But so I think it's getting back to what it should be. And I think I said this in another interview. It's supposed to be a hobby. It's supposed to be something we love, we enjoy, and makes us happy. It's not supposed to be something that we can't do and we're frustrated about, or, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Yeah. Absolutely. So I think it's looking really good. I do. And even I've been to a couple of Dallas card shows, and I can tell you this last one I went to in January, it was way busier than it's been the times before, and more kids and more women, and it's great. I think it's getting back to what it needs to be, and hopefully it stays there. I really do. Yeah.
Agreed. I think one of the big things that's drawn me, I mean, I was always going to be in cards. I never left, aside from basic training. I've not done cards, but my 9-year-old took some interest a couple of years ago, in TCG cards and now hockey cards. And having, while I don't post them a lot, I take her to a lot of shows, and just watching her face light up and how much fun she's having. I'm like, yeah, this is why I like this, because she's learning how to sell cards. She just sent her first couple cards in for grading.
Oh,
so we're gonna see how it goes. She's super excited. I'm kind of stoked. One of them's a pretty big card that she pulled out of a little fat pack from Walmart.
Sweet.
Yeah, little gold foil. Oh my gosh, spacing the name. Caulfield, Young Guns. It's a really nice card. Anyways, neither here nor there.
No, but that's good. I mean, just that's one thing that we actually did last card show was my husband helped me put together little kids packs.
It's awesome.
And so, base and everything else that we had, like we shoved a bunch of, cards in these little cellophane things, and it was important to give them out because, a little kid, it doesn't matter if it's, a base from last year, it's a gift, and they're looking at it like, whoa, so I think that's great. I think, and that's how I think that's where it's left up to us to make sure that it doesn't go back to a couple years ago where it was impossible for actual true hobbyists and collectors. I think it's up to us at this point to keep everybody motivated in the right direction and to help the next generation see it as we remember it. Not Absolutely. We don't want them to see it as, flip, 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 flip. It's all about money. We don't hold on anything longer than an hour. We want the kids to experience what we experienced growing up and those memories, because they're obviously in our heads, right? I mean, I'm talking about Milwaukee Brewers and police cars, because that's
Right.
what we want our kids to know, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, my love with cards and I guess baseball, like in general. Um, I went to a Yankee game. I grew up in New York City. I went to a Yankee game with my dad, and used to be able to, we're talking, mid '80s when security wasn't as big. You could sit in the bleachers, but walk all the way down the third baseline and hang out and watch batting practice. And we've been to a few games. I kept trying to get Don Mattingly to come over, and never heard or was too busy. Right, he's doing his job.
Right.
But he came over, and I was like, "Can I get a pic?" And my dad breaks out the old big Polaroid, spit out the camera, right? And
Yeah.
Mattingly stops him, and he's like, "Wait." He's like, "Oh, can I not take a picture?" He's like, "No, hang on." He picked me up and put me on the field next to him to take the photo, and then signed the photo. And
Right.
it kind of felt like it wasn't a baseball card, but it is the key card in my collection 40 years later.
Right.
I was like,
It's
you
that
can do no
memory.
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's that's what's important. And that's the thing, like, just us doing the kid packs, or us, with your daughter, just those little things are going to be when they're 40 something years old. Like, I don't know how old you are, but like I am.
47.
Okay. So these are those things when they're 47, they're going to look at it and go, I remember that. And that's even if they don't continue, it's still a memory. And those core memories are so important.
Absolutely. I mean, we bring a stack every day, every month when I'm set up at the show, I have a stack of, football and baseball and some basketball, that the intention is the stuff is getting handed out throughout the day, whether you buy anything from me or not, it doesn't matter. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We're doing good. We're doing it right.
I think so. So if you could change something about the hobby right now, is there anything you'd like to change, or you think we're just keep on chugging the way we're currently sitting?
I would, so, I do follow a lot of women in the hobby. I would like to see maybe more women get involved, or if they are involved, to come out and be brave. I think there probably are a lot of closeted women collectors of sports cards that for some reason or another aren't out there. I think it'd be great to have more of that diversity. And like I said, you already kind of know how I feel on the flippers. I mean, obviously there's a balance, and I think that in some ways it's necessary. Maybe it does balance out something. I don't know, but I wish it wouldn't be the focus all the time for some people. I wish we could even see some different sides of those people. If their focus is flipping, great, but let me see how do you have a PC? Let me see more of that. I think that would be great. Like some of these flippers I do follow. Well, let me see a little bit deeper. Do you have, some special cards that you're going to keep forever and ever and ever until the day you die? You don't talk about that. Let me see, because then I could maybe respect you a little bit more. Does that make sense? Yeah. But I mean, honestly, in the whole, I wouldn't change much else yet. I haven't been involved in it enough for long enough, like you back, I haven't been back in the game long enough, but so far what I've seen as a whole, it's been amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I got to kind of experience the whole COVID and it, the growth and how it's going. So hopefully it just doesn't get back to what it was.
I agree. I got to be honest though, when COVID happened, and obviously a lot of people got left holding the bag, right? When everything started running up, but because I'm a dork for life, even though it went up and came back down, like we were, going along like this, then that, and came here, I still, it was like this is the greatest thing ever from a value perspective.
Right.
I mean, 'cause I do sound a little contradictory sometimes when I'm not the biggest fan of flippers, but then I set up at shows because inherently I'm flipping, right? I'm not flipping in an hour, but it's the easiest way for me to fund my own personal collection without impacting family money. Right. So it's like we can still do whatever. And my wife's great with it because I'm not dipping into joint account funds or anything like that to go do anything. But
I mean, it's kind of the same thing I do, though. I mean, that's why I'm selling on eBay, so I can, buy that Jordan Love I want. But, yeah, we sound kind of contradictory, but at the same time, like, no, we're not buying $1,000 card and an hour later selling it for 1,700. That's not,
exactly.
that's not what we're doing. I'm not looking and going, okay, well, I can get this one for 500, but I can sell it for 1,000 in an hour. We're not doing that. So we're not really contradicting. We are selling to buy for our collection. Totally different.
Thank you. I feel better about myself now. I appreciate it.
You should. Absolutely.
All right. So you obviously been doing this for a little while now. This isn't your first rodeo anymore.
Right.
If there was one thing, if you were starting fresh today, that you wish you knew now that you didn't know then, what would it be?
I think since I started so quick and so hard, so fast, I think I would probably have educated myself a little bit more about the variations and about all the different stuff that I would have to learn. Like, I'm learning as I go, obviously. And sometimes that's the best way to learn, but I wish I would have not had this bright idea to get started and have absolutely no idea what I was doing. Like, sure. I had none, just from what I've watched. But when you actually are holding it and you have all these different, it was too much. So I probably would have maybe educated myself a little bit more, and gotten a feel for it before I went gun ho. But, it is what it is. And now I'm just learning as I go. So that's probably the biggest thing I would change. I mean, honestly, I haven't had any bad experiences yet, really. So there's not much I would change yet. Come back to me in a year. I'll let you know.
Fair enough.
Be like, you know what? I didn't like that. But right now, I'm good. I do want to. I think I need to get out there and get to different sports card shows. I think that, I'm a very, I know I don't seem like it, but I'm actually a very shy, very antisocial person who likes my own little safe space and my own little box.
Okay.
Speech class in college obviously taught me different, and I've done really well, but I try to stay in my own little box, and I need to get myself out of that box. And that's why I went to Atlanta a couple weeks ago. I was like, all right, I'm doing this. I'm getting out of my box. And it was energy sucking, but I did it. So I think just getting used to getting myself out of the box, I think, would be the biggest thing. And that's why I'm with you today, getting myself out of the box.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Hey, for whatever it's worth, it's a drive for you. But, the Mid-Atlantic, we're not too shabby. I mean, we got Chantilly up in the DC area,
right.
It's a bigger show. It's kind of depends on what you want to go for. Raleigh puts on a really big show. Mm-hmm. Heck, in Virginia Beach, where I set up all the time, we do, it's about 260, 270 table show, free entry.
Right.
All the kind of stuff. And a lot of collectors come to that show.
Yeah.
It's not as much, not that I have anything against content creators. I'm not saying that at all, but it's very much, the him and her come in looking for the thing that they want to have for themselves. They're not then trying to take it 2 tables down and, like you said,
no, right.
So
yeah, absolutely.
I'm just saying, our little area of the woods, not too bad.
No, I am looking forward to the national once in Chicago, because Chicago is one of my favorite places in the world. So I am kind of looking forward to doing that.
It's set up so everything about that show is so convenient. I mean, even for me, living down in the Hampton Roads, Virginia area, I have a nonstop flight out every year at 6:30. Every other year, right? At 6:30 in the morning, that gets me in there by 8 o'clock, and then you stay right across the way, and everything is so easy. It's
right. Now, have you ever been to Dallas?
I've actually never been to Dallas. No.
Okay.
Really,
I was just curious on the difference. And I know Chicago's obviously going to be a lot bigger because it's the national, but the Dallas card show is actually really large. I mean, you're talking like secret room, boom, big room. Sure. It's a lot. So I'm sure the nationals times 10. It's a little big. Overwhelming.
And they kind of have your same general idea, the Chicago version of it. Mm-hmm. They have side rooms that you can kind of get lost in that wrap around and pop back out, and you get lost where you were if you don't keep
Mhm.
track. But yeah, the main room is big. Now, are you going to go to Cleveland this year?
I'd like to. I'd like to.
That is
Yeah.
like a big square. There's no
Yeah.
hidden rooms there. It is
Okay.
Diet Center is a big square,
That's
so
cool.
it's pretty easy to get
That's
around.
good. That's good. Like I said, I'm getting used to Dallas. So Dallas is not as overwhelming now, but it is. It's like 5 other little rooms and then the big room. So you have to really kind of strategize or, remember which little hidden room you need to go back to get that Ernie Banks card. You're like, wait, what
Right.
room was that? Or just purchase it right away. Because if you say I'm coming back, you may not come back because you may not find them. Yeah.
That's the thing. And you always run the risk in shows like Dallas or the National with so many people that there's someone probably within 500 feet of where you are that may want that card too.
That card. Yeah,
So,
definitely. The way I always look at it then, maybe I wasn't supposed to get that card. That's how I look at it.
Right. It looks kind of dorky, I guess, but like at the National or a larger like Chantilly or something like that, if there's a card I'm interested in, but I'm not like 100% that I'm going to get it, I'll take a picture of the aisle sign and the case and put a note on the picture where it was. So if I want to circle back later, I can go, oh, it's aisle 32. This guy has it, or something like that. So I can remember where it was real easy.
No, that's brilliant. I mean, I do that at the airport. Why not do it
Why
at
not Joe?
or the grocery store?
Right.
I'm like, I'm by this tree in Road Dean. Yeah, I do that all the time. I have to.
Exactly. Same idea. And then at least
great
you
idea.
Back, saves your time.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I'm gonna start doing that for real.
There you go.
That is brilliant. Yeah.
I wish I could say I own that idea, but I can't remember who it was. But I'm sure there was someone else at some point in time was like, "Hey, idiot, why don't you just?" And I'm like, oh, "That's a good idea." Took it and ran with it. All right, I have one last question for you. Do you think women in the hobby are getting the respect they deserve? Do you feel like people are treating you any different because you're a woman in the hobby, or you feel like you're pretty good now? Does that make sense?
So
sorry about that.
I actually, like I said, I kind of touched on this on a reel because I had one ugly negative comment, which one ugly comment in what, a year probably. Yeah. And that ugly comment really, really, really bothered me because it was along the lines of like, you're a girl, I guess they were saying I, wasn't disgustingly ugly, that I get what I want, that I get free stuff, that I get perks, that it's easier for me. And I'm like, are you kidding me? First of all, this is a male-dominated hobby. There's nothing easier about it. That's not fair. Like, I have to work just as hard, if not harder, for people to look at me and go, oh, this girl's got her crap together. She knows what she's talking about. She's not, just some girl like, oh, I'm cute, I can do this. That's to be taken seriously. I have to know my crap, right?
Absolutely.
So I am working extremely hard. And so that comment really set me off to a point that my antisocial butt had to make a reel, which was saying a lot. I feel like I am getting the respect. I am getting, people are appreciating my photos and they're, of my cards. They're appreciating my collection. They're responding to my collection. They're commenting, they're liking, they're sharing.
Sure.
And those are guys. And it's not pictures of me. It's pictures of my card, like in front of my random dog or in front of my fireplace. I mean, it's not me holding. I'm getting respect. And that's part of kind of why this is still going. I think if there would have been disrespect instantly, or people wouldn't have been interested except in, a picture of my feet, it would have been something that turned me off, right?
Sure.
But because people are actually responding to my hobby, my items, my love, it's fun. So yeah, I do feel like I'm getting it. Now, will there ever be a time, somebody likes a picture of me? Yeah, of course. So what? I mean, it is a male-dominated hobby. If I have a photo of me with my card, it probably might get double the likes than my Ernie Banks card. But
unfortunately,
and I'm okay with that. As long as nobody's disrespectful, I'm cool with that. But no, it's been great. One ugly negative person, which I shut down immediately. So we're good.
Good.
And I'm sure there'll be more.
100%. Unfortunately, yeah.
You guys get it too. You guys get it too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I had a really nice fella, and he's not wrong, which is why I'm changing how I eat and everything I'm doing over the last bunch of months. But one of the comments I had on, I don't know, it was a couple videos ago, and I mean, spot on. I told him, like, he nailed it. He's like, "You pregnant?" I was like, "Yeah, no, I got a big gut. You're spot on, man. Like, there's a home run. That's why I'm working on it." But thanks for reminding me. But yeah, I wanted to ask, just because, like, from my perspective, and I can't speak from obviously the same perspective as a woman, but I feel like, what I saw it shows 5 years ago compared to what I see now is, back then, like, if a woman walked up to the table next to me, say for sake of argument, you know, I felt like there was like this internal, oh, this person doesn't know what they're going to talk about. And now, some of the rock stars we have set up for the shows are the women, and everyone, at least in this area, seems good with it. I was just kind of curious what your take was. So.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. And that's why I said, I know we have a lot of closeted women hobbyers, and
Sure.
and I hope that, and I hope the reason that they're not coming out in that way is because of the fear of negativity, or the fear of disrespect, or the fear of being told you can't do this, because that's stupid. We're past that, right?
Agreed.
It's so over that. But yeah, some of these girls are rock stars. I strive to be them. Absolutely. But I think they're doing great. And I think that's the thing. As long as you are constantly educating yourself, and if it's something that you're passionate about, obviously we do that, even if it's, about a car we like, not cards, but a car. Right. If you're passionate about something, you're going to learn about it, right? Sure. So as long as we as humans are educating ourselves constantly on the hobby, it doesn't matter who we are. I mean, I think Sabrina said it the other day during the whole 3-point thing. Like, if you can shoot, you can shoot, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're a girl or boy. If you can shoot, you can shoot. That's how I feel about this right now. So Sabrina nailed it.
Love it. Yeah, I know we spent forever to try to make this time happen, and I really appreciate it. I want to keep you from your family and all your 10 million other obligations and your little furry friends running behind you.
Yes,
the house.
everywhere.
So, thanks again so much for coming on. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to talking to you again sometime.
Thank you. I'm honored that you even wanted me, and I'm so thankful that I am the first in a long history of this now. So this is great.
Absolutely. Thanks again. Take care, and good luck at your next show.
Thank you.